do, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make it good to you, baby.
Yeah, keep singing. Keep singing.
You gonna tell me when we're live?
Yeah, we're live right now.
We are?
Yes, we're live right now.
I'm over here adjusting my camera. You always find the most professional moment to make us go live. So that, damn it, I messed it up. I had it just the way I wanted it.
What, your camera?
No, my hair. I had it sitting the way I wanted it. And then I ruined it. Ruining it. You're ruining it.
Okay, so.
What?
Creepy TikToks are ruining my marriage.
That's for damn sure. That is the truth.
Okay.
Hallelujah. Thank you for recognizing. It is ruining everything. You're ruining it. There's like a shadow in this lighting. It's okay. It's because I'm blocking the light with the camera.
So, this comment here on your recent success. I think that video you did was a success.
My recent success.
This is a comment on
I love your optimism,
success.
Adonis. You have a way of putting a positive spin on things.
Well, Melissa Brooks is one of my peoples. Well, she's one of my internet
who the hell
peoples.
is Melissa Brooks?
She's one of my internet
Psych.
people. She saw your video where you took over for me.
She sounds like a homewrecker.
I don't know. She's good. So it's
so many emojis.
It's a lot of emojis. She said, "We already know how he really is, girl.
Oh yeah.
So in love with you."
Who? With me?
That's why I need one of those machines so I can go, "Oh." I can press the sound effect. On God, that man loves you with his heart and soul.
Who? This guy?
And no, you're not wrong if you're black and fantasize about having white slaves.
That sounds so out of context right now.
Never thought about it like that.
Oh my
But
gosh.
That's some of the funniest stuff I've ever heard in my life, Mrs. Beautiful Adonis.
Wow.
Hope you can do this show at least once a month.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
At least once a month.
That's a lot of pressure.
For him this way. This was awesome and very creative. That's why I say it's a success, because I think it was very creative. Man, you guys keep up all the hard work. You guys are doing much love from one of y'all biggest fans.
Wow.
One of our biggest fans. Is she my fan or is she your fan?
That's a beautiful comment. Thank you very much, Miss Melissa.
So let me ask you this. I thought
Her name, Melissa, reminds me of my friend Melissa when I was in high school. Did I tell you the story about how the first time I went to a club and what happened and why I never went to the club again?
a club. Oh, like a dance party club?
Bruh,
Or a Masonic club?
Okay, so when I was living in New York, going to middle and high school there, I had this girlfriend named Melissa, right? And Melissa was a Jamaican girl, right? And I mean, she was Jamaican, okay? Like as soon as you find out she Jamaican, you be like, I could have told you that. That's how Jamaican she was, all right? So she would hang out with my sister and I sometimes, but I told you, like, my friends, my girlfriends from school, they weren't really like our peers. Like, they were on the same level with us. They were like our fans. They were like our groupies almost. You know what I'm saying? So they would hang out with us just because I guess they thought we were cool, but we weren't trying to be cool. Like, we were just our quirky selves. What do you mean?
Did they know that they was like your fans hanging out with y'all because y'all were cool? Did they know that or not?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. But like, you know how when you're like, okay, like teenage boys do this where they'll like hang out with somebody who's like the most popular basketball player in the school, and they're just happy to be in the group. They're not really trying to like connect with him one-on-one for fear he might notice me and realize I'm not as cool as he is. So let me just follow him around, just be in the background somewhere, so when like the girls come around I can smile and talk to them, like that kind of thing. Sort of like that, but like we have our own version of that as females, right?
Okay.
So they're not in our like inner circle ring of friends, but they're like tag-alongs. When they see us coming down the street, they stop what they're doing and come run across the street and be like, oh, where y'all going? And just tag along. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. When other people ask them, oh, you know Gypsy and her sister? They be like, yeah, no, she's my girl. Yeah, I be going to her house sometimes.
Oh, no. Guys, we got the equivalent of that.
Yeah, but you're not like a close friend to me. You know what I mean? It's like, you're not the girlfriend I call up and be like, girl, let me tell you what happened today. You're not that friend. You're just in the background, right? I'm just nice to you. So this is the kind of friend she was. We were just cool with her, you know?
Right.
So now, high school is over with. I told you my first baby daddy, he was like 8 years older than me. So at the time, I think I had just turned 21 and I was able to get into a club, right?
8 years older than you, dang.
Yeah, and he had a really bad habit of continually going out club hopping every night, every time he got a chance. You can't pay your bills, but you out clubbing? Like, what is going on? Because he just wanted to show off his Jordan sneakers. And he loves to dance, so he would always be going out clubbing. And then I would be like, well, take me with you then. And he'd be like, nah, you don't need to go to the club. You just stay right here. So
no, you can't take your girlfriend with you to the club.
So this one day, I got so pissed off because I came outside. It was like midnight or something. I'm walking down Main Street. All these people are outside. And I knew he was at one of these clubs, right?
Right.
But I don't know which club he was at. So I'm like walking around, and I see a big long line outside of one of the clubs on the street. He's there. So I'm like, yep, found you, right? So I'm like, what are you doing over here? So he's like, oh, I'm about to leave anyway. Go back in the house. I'm going somewhere else. I'm like, going somewhere else where? And he's like, I'm going to this other club. And it was like 2 blocks down from where we were at. So he's like, just go back in the house. So I'm like, who the hell you think I am? Like, why are you just leaving me, abandoning me to go run off to the club, right?
Where's Melissa?
Melissa comes out of this club as my ex is running off to the next club. And she's like, oh, Gypsy, what are you doing here? So I'm like, what are you doing here? And she's like, yeah, I'm about to go dancing. She's like, hey, you want to come with me? I'm going over to this other club. She didn't know that my boyfriend was going over to the other clubs. And I have an excuse to go down there, right? So I'm like,
follow him.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'll go with you, right? So me and her start walking over to the other club. And she's talking to me. We're catching up. You know, high school is over. We're like catching up. And then we go into the club. I swear. She was like, listen, girl, I see these hoes in here that's probably gonna try something. So I'm just letting you know, like, just beware. So I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like,
that's the worst when your friends say, yo, listen.
She's like, I see them looking at me.
It's about to go down. So what's about to go down, son? It's
people don't believe me when I say, like, I grew up in the hood, okay? There was nothing peachy. There was no suburban nothing going on in my neighborhoods. It was wild. So I'm sitting here like, hold on a second. What's going on, right?
I'm not laughing at what you said. I'm laughing at what somebody said.
She's pointing out these ratchet-looking chicks who I guess it's like a Jamaican girl beef between their posse and her posse. And she's trying to give me the rundown story of like, yeah, my baby daddy was cheating on me with this hoe and she got a baby by him, blah, blah. And I'm like, all that happened since high school? What? It hasn't even been that much time. Like, what? So I'm like, what is happening right now, right? So I'm sitting here like, do I need to be worried or should I just mind my business? I'm trying to find my baby dad. Me and him didn't have a baby at this point. We just lived together. So I'm trying to find him. So I'm like, okay, whatever, girl. Like, I think she's exaggerating and being dramatic.
You and your baby father didn't live together?
At this time we did live together. That's why that's why I was getting irritated. Because I'm like, you moved me into a house with you to abandon me every night? Like, what's wrong with you? Like, why would you tell me to come live with you if you're not going to actually be here? You know what I'm saying?
And you didn't know you had Asperger's back then.
No, I had no idea I had Asperger's. So I'm sitting here, like, trying to figure out what's going to happen next. I'm kind of ignoring her because I'm like, she just exaggerating, being dramatic. And I'm looking for him. He running around the whole club, doing all these break dances and just getting carried away. And I'm sitting here, like, trying to concentrate on that. Then all of a sudden, I just hear screeching, just like, just girls flipping out, right? This is a loud, noisy club. It's dark in here. So I'm, like, looking to see what this noise is. And I see, like, 3 big back chicks just like tackling her like a football tackle with my friend underneath. Mind you, I just said this girl is not one of my close friends. She's just somebody I'm cool with. You know what I'm saying?
What did you do when you saw them?
My instincts just told me to help her, so I ran over and started pulling the girls by their ugly ass hair, just pulling them, and like they were starting to come up because I'm pulling them by the hair. I'm pulling them off. I didn't hit anybody. I just pulled them, right? So they're like, you know, grabbing their head and like moving backwards. And then as they're coming up, some other people got involved and broke them up, right? So then my girlfriend's like grabbing my hand. She's like, come on, girl, let's get out of here. So she runs out with me. When we get outside, it's police at the door already. I don't know where they came from. I think they used to just patrol the streets because it was wild out there, right?
Right.
She's like, officer, I need help. So then the officer's like, what's going on? And she's like, these girls try to jump me. So I'm like, oh God, here we go. And he's like, did you witness anything? He's saying it to me. I'm like, Yes. I'm mad because I'm like, oh Lord, do I have to give him a statement now? Like, it's a waste of my time. This is not what I came outside for, you know? I came here to stalk my baby daddy. Like, what is going on?
Okay, so clearly this story is traumatic, and this girl, Melissa Brooks, reminds you of that Melissa.
I just thought of Melissa when I saw her name, and I was just like, I can't do this no more. So that was the end of the clubbing life for me. I was like, okay. I'm good. It's too dramatic.
Here's another person who saw your recent triumph. I think it was a triumph. Gypsy, my love. Yay. It's so nice to hear
People are so comfortable saying, my love, my beauty. I love you.
I got to tell you something, though. It's primarily attractive women.
Oh, yeah? I wish I had my glasses so I could see.
So it says, Gypsy, my love. Yay. It's so nice to hear you and your thoughtful insight. You are so bright, vibrant, and beautiful. You got an amazing singing voice, too. You guys really need to do a collaboration on the songs. He
won't listen to me. I be telling him all the time, like, let's just do the songs together. But, you know, Adonis is impatient. He's trying to get it done.
My only critique is that you sit too low on the frame. Love and appreciate all that you guys do.
Because his chair is mad big. It's like huge. His chair is mad big and cushiony. So when I sit in it, I just sink down.
This is from the video Creepy TikToks that made my wife rethink our marriage.
Oh, yeah?
Somebody asked me, yo, is she about to leave you or something? Because you're doing too much? Mm-hmm. I said, I answered that guy. I said, what really happened is when I said it made her rethink our marriage, she really...
I was like... This is what dating is? Yeah, I'm good.
No.
I don't want to be out here with these crazies.
Marty and Roxanne from Canada in the house. Love the show.
Yo, we be getting a lot of Canadian viewers.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And we're all the way in the south of America. Texas is like an hour away from us, right?
That's something I love about the internet is that you have like instant access to people who are from all over the world. And for somebody like me, who's like a big advocate for cultural awareness, that's like a big turn on for me, because when do I just have a chance to just talk to people in China? Like, I don't know nobody in China, you know? Right. So I love that. I love hearing all these different perspectives. You know, like when I was young, living in Korea, and then now when I think back on my life in Korea to what it is here, it feels like I was in literally like an alternate dimension, because things are so different in other countries than how they are in your country. You don't really understand, like, the world is not just what we say it is here in the United States, because we're so up our own butts that we think our perspective is the only correct way. There's people in so many different other parts of the world that do things totally different, and they're winning as they're doing it. They're not doing it in a difficult way to make their lives more, you know, hard. It's working for them, and we don't know that there's another way to do things. That's why you need friends from, like, all different backgrounds, because you learn things from your friends that you're like, oh, I didn't even know I could do that, you know?
I agree. Definitely. Listen, here's something I wanted to ask you. What did you think when I said, hey, I need you to do this video for me?
Oh, my God. That's a good question. The first thing I thought was shock, because I didn't realize that you trust me to take over a video without direction. So that was like, I was shocked. And then the other part was I felt honored that you trust me to take over the video without direction.
Why? So first of all, why did you not honor? Why did you feel like, wow, he trusts me to do this? What was that about? What's the shock?
Because this channel is like your baby. It's your brainchild, and it's like your creative outlet. When you want to experiment and just try something, like, this is the channel where you do that at. And yes, you do consult with me. I think a lot of people don't understand. Just because you just now seeing my face on camera don't mean I ain't been here since day one. Like, we've been YouTubing for years now. So you might have just discovered us yesterday, but we've been here, like, literally for years. And from every step of the way, even my channel on Broken Dolly TV, like, everything behind the scenes you've been helping me with. So people don't really understand that, like monetization. I don't know how to set that stuff up. You do all of that stuff, you know? I can't be bothered. End, basically. Yeah, I can't be bothered to, I don't even know. Sometimes other creators who want to become doll tubers or like expand their channels, they contact me and say, Gypsy, how do I do the monetization thing? How do I do the CPM thing? Can you explain it to me? And I'll be like, girl, you gotta talk to my husband, because I don't know. I don't know how any of it works. I just know it works, you know? So you have your strong suits and I have my strong suits. The things I'm nerdy about, you're not. And the things you're nerdy about, I'm not. And we balance each other. So they don't understand. It's like YouTube, I know as YouTubers, we're supposed to pretend like it's a one-man show, but it's really not. You have to have a team of supporters helping you, editing.
You have to.
Planning videos. Yeah. Scripting things, making thumbnails, titling. You have to like have somebody that can help you. I think
people think that you're just saying the script because it sounds cute to say. You gotta like write stuff down. No, you have
to take time to make the stuff, not amateur-esque, if that makes sense. Moderately professional, if you want to call it that. You know, it's not ever really going to be professional because we don't have Hollywood behind us. But as professional as you can make it from home, right?
Right.
So there's a lot more work that goes into a YouTube video than what people think. And for some people, like for example, really big channels that react, their viewers are helping them by sending them a bunch of clips that they didn't have to go running around looking for. That's a huge help to those YouTubers, but you don't really factor that in as a viewer when you're watching. You know what I'm saying? How much that impacts the channel. So, and shout out to the people who do that for us too, because there are people that send us clips.
Yeah, there are.
And yeah, we're really grateful for you guys that do that. So
that's the shock of, and then the next one was the honor. Where does the honor come in? You said I was honored that you wanted me to.
I think it's like I just said, this channel is your baby, and you don't want just any old body handling your baby. I don't trust you like that. What if you mess something up? What if you give him a cold? What if you have a cold sore on your lip and you kiss my baby? Bye. You know what I'm saying? I don't just trust any old body with my baby. And like, yeah, I'm your wife. So in theory, it's like, well, of course, who else is he going to trust? But if
everybody's wife
is not talented, is not capable of, taking over the show, and there's no like missing the beat. And the fact that you have enough faith in my ability to carry it, that you were like, can you just help me out this one time? And you didn't have to do a bunch of explaining to me of like what you needed me to do. You just was like, here's the clips I need you to react to, and just say what comes to the top of your head as soon as you think it. That was all the direction I needed. You know what I'm saying? You trust my creativity. You trust my sense of humor. You trust my, thinking process. So
that's dope. Let's flip to this comment here from Athena.
Why you gotta pick the longest comments ever?
She asked me this like a while ago.
Athena and Adonis. Ooh, if you know, you know.
So Adonis, I have a question for you. You're always talking smack about these tarot card readers.
Oh, Lord.
And fortune tellers.
Uh-oh.
Do you know what a gypsy is, Adonis? Well, I'm a Mexican American, and my grandmother always told me maybe you could look up videos on YouTube about what gypsy is. But my grandmother always told me that they did fortune telling and tarot card readings, and they basically traveled from place to place. I'm just wondering why you're always talking smack about tarot card readers and fortune tellers, but then you got the gypsy name on your Cash App. I was just wondering about that. I love your channel, and I mean no disrespect. Love your channel.
The reason for that
Let me say it to Athena first. First, Athena, baby. I didn't think you were disrespecting the channel. I think just like, let's say when you're dating a girl, should be like, I'm just curious. Why do you just, even though I'm moving my head like this, us people from the inner city, excuse me, like girls would do that in the math class. 7 plus 2 is not 12. Thank you.
That's how we drive home points, okay?
Excuse me, big man. You is cute. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You are.
Stupid. You said you is cute.
I don't know why. I don't know why the girls are.
You better take my number.
Yes, I will have a large fries, chocolate shake,
extra pickles.
On the side, please. On the side. Not on the burger. Hello.
Ew.
So, black people are hilarious. Y'all are funny.
Good Lord.
I just naturally do that whenever I be talking to a girl. Sometimes, like, if I was at Athena's house and we was chilling, I would just break up. Like, oh, I love this show, girl. Oh, turn it up. She'd be like, this is a commercial. What are you doing?
Commercial.
This is my favorite one, though. Hey.
Oh, Lordy.
Anyway, so I didn't think you was dissing. I thought you was like, wait a minute. I can't can you explain that to me, bro? And I don't take it. And here's the explanation. The explanation why the Cash App says Gypsy Vibe is because that was the Cash App I made up for Gypsy. It wasn't for me. Like she just said, I don't even know how to do all this back end stuff.
Okay, wait. Here's the other part of it. Okay.
All right.
Again, I hate when women say that stay-home wives aren't getting paid for their work. Shut up. If you got a man and he's allowing for you to stay at home and not have to go out and work, that's your payment, your life. The cushy, comfortable life that you're living that you didn't have to pay a dime for. And this is extra. This isn't just part of me being a wife. I have to use my knowledge of performing arts and editing skills in order to help Adonis. But I have my own channel. I know y'all heard me say I have my own channel, right? I have multiple channels, actually. I was
going to say own channels.
Yeah, so I have to take time away from those channels to come over and help him with this one or whatever other projects he's got going on, which I don't mind doing. But to give me more of an incentive to do it, Adonis pays me in dolls. Like, I'm a doll collector. So some of these dolls are really expensive. They're like $100 a pop. And I don't work. So where am I going to get $100 from to buy a doll? So Adonis will just bribe me. He'll be like, yo,
wait.
All the money that's in this Cash App, that's yours. Go buy yourself whatever dolls you want. Just as long as you stay available to help me at the drop of a dime when I need you. Like this video we're talking about.
Not that she can't work like outside of the home or something like that.
No, sometimes I do, but I don't work for money. I work for socializing. I don't work because I need a paycheck. I work because sometimes I'll be like, I'm going to make some friends. Bye! And then I'll go get a part-time job. But even then, like, most of my part-time jobs, as soon as it gets to the point where it's like, either you're stressing me out at this job, if I complain to Adonis, I come home from work and be like, ooh, let me tell you about this weird lady that's my manager. Bruh, it's like a countdown from the time I say that to him finally just being like, all right, you just got to quit because I'm tired of listening to you complain about these people. You don't need to be there, so you just going into tormenting yourself why are you doing that? Just come home. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what the Cash App, why the Cash App is Gypsy.
Yeah, because I'm Gypsy.
That's for one. For two, when she says you're always talking smack about tarot card girls, and look who came to the party, Holistic Soul. Holistic Soul has been coming to the channel for a while. I be cracking jokes at her. Not her, well, how can I put it? It's like this. Tarot card girls should not be pretty. I don't like that. I don't like that.
What are they supposed to look like?
Like, they're supposed to look like bubble, toil and trouble. It's like, you're a witch. Witches are supposed, like Gal Gadot should not have been the Wicked Witch.
That's a stereotype.
Gal Gadot should have been Snow White, but she was just too old.
Was she?
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I don't like tarot card girls. I don't like them because you shouldn't be pretty. You should be ugly. You should be like. You should be like, I'm going to tell your future. Oh, I see it in the cards. Oh, the Joker. Oh, the Pentacle.
Maybe that's what they look like on the inside, but on the outside, they're shrouding you with the decoy of
Speaking of
looks.
inside and outside, that's one of my favorite movies, Shallow Hal. He just knew he could get these girls who was dime fly chicks on the outside. But he had so much confidence, either that or he was oblivious, and he didn't even realize he's a weird-looking guy.
You know, this is my experience with tarot card chicks. A lot of times, they are very beautiful women, but when you sit down and talk to a lot of women who are into that tarot stuff, they're very misguided, and they have very little faith. Like, they have a lot of doubts about their life and their decision-making, which is why
one of the reasons they rely on a tarot card.
Astrology and tarot and fortune-telling, because they don't really believe
in... It's basically like luck. But at the same time, I can't judge you and tell you don't believe in nothing. That's why that would be way too much like a Christian would do. Christians, and I like Christianity.
So the tarot...
Wait. Certain Christian people, they're the ones who will drive you away from that. And and then you will end up going to tarot. And I've met people who have told me that's why they went to the tarot. Because the Christians... Not the religion.
Yeah, the people.
The people who are practicing the religion, basically
they ran
her off.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew that she believed that there was a higher power. She didn't know where to look, and she kind of stumbled across tarot. I ran into a few women like that. So someone like Holistic Soul, I'm not coming at her and being like, use a tarot card. I'm coming at her like, oh, God, he got another one. Oh, damn. Why couldn't he get to ugly ones? Just get an ugly, like Lizzo. You could take Lizzo to the tarot side.
Everybody wants the pretty ones. What do you mean?
Everybody wants
the pretty ones. When you was a first grader in elementary school,
nobody liked the ugly girls.
Your favorite teacher was the pretty teacher. Yep. She wasn't even that good at whatever subject it was. She couldn't even read that good. But when story time came and that teacher opened up a book, you sat there cross-legged Indian style and you was like, mm-hmm.
What about those teachers who couldn't even read that good? They were just attractive.
That's what I just said.
That couldn't read that good.
I just said that. She don't even read that good. She's stuttering. She be stumbling over the words like, okay, hold on. And she's sounding it out with the first graders, and they got to tell her the word. You know what I'm saying? Bruh.
That would be a funny skit. One, like apple polisher girl. You said the word wrong. And a bunch of other students being like, shut up!
She said it right. That's how she pronounces it. It's her truth.
It's her
hater.
Accent. It's her truth.
What? But good serious.
Boy, this is how we be coming up with comedy bits, me and my wife. We'll just make each other laugh. And then we'll write that down, and that will become the dialogue. And we'll film. I remember the first time we knew that we were writers was we was just doing this, laughing about something inside of a Denny's, just eating. And I was like, wow, this is what writers do. And she was like, almost like the episode of Seinfeld when George was like, this should be the show. And Jay was like, here. What? It's like this, right talking, nothing. And then Jay was like, right. And then by the end of the conversation, Jay was like, so you want to do a show about nothing.
And we did have a show, but the show was on my channel where we had comedy skits, and all of the skits were based on basically like life growing up in the hood kind of stuff. Yep. And we used my Barbie dolls as the actors, like puppets basically, and did voiceovers for them. It was a hit, but because I took a really long hiatus from that channel, the show kind of just died down. Yo, people are still requesting right now. Yeah. They're like, are you going to bring the show back? And I'm like, how long ago was that? Y'all still asking me?
Not how old are you, because these people are entertained by dolls. She's just like, you still thinking about that?
That was like 8 years ago. I'm like, y'all are okay.
So, to Athena, I'm not really talking smack about tarot girls. Like, if you notice, I'll have a tarot card girl on screen. I'll be like, hey, I got to leave you girls alone. Oh my God, I gotta, she caught me, so it's like, I don't want to call the tarot girl a fetish. I want to call it that you're marryable on the surface, but then with the hexagrams under our bed.
Hexagram.
We can't, come on. I can't do Halloween every day, not every day. We can do it on the 30th of October.
It's this sense of feeling like you are in control of something and you have some power when you delve into that lifestyle that the women are attracted to. But the problem with that is that it leads to even more drama. Like, you don't get all the things that you are telling yourself you're going to get, and you start living by what the cards are suggesting to you, you know? So when you think of it that way, it's like you become a slave to the tarot life. You're not really gaining any power, but it's this illusion that possibly I could control something in my life. You understand what I'm saying? But that comes from your own doubt of how your life is going. So that's why if you have all this doubt, you need something to dispel that doubt, you know? And it's kind of interesting because I feel like a lot of the tarot card girls, if they were left to just study a religion, they would probably be the most devout people in that religion. You know what I'm saying? They'd be the most devout girl at the church, the most devout girl at the masjid, the most devout, you know what I'm saying? Because they're so like passionate about it.
Right.
But it's just they're using all of their energy towards this other thing that's eventually going to cause them harm, but they don't understand how it works. So they think they do, but they don't really understand how that works and why the Bible says don't mess around with witchcraft. They'll tell themselves, this isn't witchcraft. It's good magic. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's not how that works. But you can't explain it to them because they're not going to get it until they get it one day. One day some of them do get it.
I think good magic is like a good pedophile.
Ugh.
Can you You know what I'm saying? Can you...
There's nothing good about the devil, but it's like, if you tell yourself the devil doesn't exist, well, then you're just going to fall for whatever he throws at you, because that's the biggest lie that the devil tells, is that he's not real. What devil? That's imaginary. You know? Meanwhile, every horror story you ever seen on a movie, there's always some demonic element to the story. Why is that? Why is it the bad guy is possessed by a demon? Why is it that the priest has to be called? Why is it that something always gets traced back to a demon or a devil in the storyline, even though it's not supposed to be a religious storyline? I find that kind of interesting.
It's just Hollywood, I guess. It's Hollywood.
I don't know.
Whatever
Hollywood, of all people, should not be advocating for anything religious, because according to Hollywood, religion doesn't matter. But yet your story has some kind of trace back to a devil, a demon, hell. Like, why is that? That's all part of religion. That's where that comes from. Why are y'all talking like that? You can't make up a storyline about some kind of, bad entity or something that has nothing to do with the spirit realm. You can't? You can't just make something up? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure that people can.
Hollywood is filled with creatives, so why can't you just create out of thin air something that has nothing to do with evilness due to the devil or a demon or a negative spiritual entity? You can't come up with it.
I always say this. This person just said the real question should be, why do you always call a Catholic priest?
I thought I was the only person that was thinking, and the Catholic priest always be scared. Like... He don't never come in there with any confidence. Soon as the demon be like, he's like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of here. Like, they're always running off scared from the demon.
Well, let's get into a deeper conspiracy part of it. Is it a conspiracy? Because the original Christians, and even pre-Christianity, the Bible is about the Romans bothering everybody. Isn't it?
Is it?
They even got their own chapter.
Romans.
They've got their own chapter in the Bible. And also, Rome is still in power today. The Vatican is in Rome.
Well, again, that's why I left the church, because when I sat down and talked to some pastors and really grilled them so I could understand, for example, the Trinity, after they start stuttering and being unable to explain it to me properly, when I asked them, who taught you the Trinity? Like, where did you learn about this? They always talk about seminary school, and that how in seminary school, they have to learn the history of the religion. And according to the history of the religion, during the Roman Empire, people were polytheistic. So they...
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold that thought. This is what I was saying about Athena. And say, excuse me. You can't stutter when a woman asks you a question, You gotta just have the answer. And that's probably why a lot of people think that, I don't know what you heard about me. That song, what those people are about, are so strange and they're manipulative because they don't ever start stuttering. But you just naturally can't stutter when you comes to it, because she'll be, so why do you want to put it in my butt again? You start stuttering, she'll be like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, but I gotta go.
Good Lord.
You know what I'm saying? If you say it with a little confidence, she might be like, well,
we'll try it.
I'll try
just
it.
one time.
But you know what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. But go on though. That just made me think of that. So go on.
Nah, this pastor was like...
They started stuttering.
The pastor said that basically... the Trinity got introduced into the Christian religion at a time when...
It got introduced?
Yes, when the Roman church was being established and they wanted people to come to church versus going and praying to their idols. And when they kept saying monotheism, this is one God, nobody would come to church. Nobody wanted to be there because that's just not what was trending at the time. So they hashtagged, in their own way, they hashtagged the Trinity and said, oh, God is a Father, a Son, and a Holy Spirit. That's what made people start running to church because, I can choose which of these gods I want to worship, and they're all the right answer because they're all one? Cool! Wow. So that's what happened. There's a pastor telling me this, and he's like, we're not really supposed to, explain it like this or talk to people. This is why when you ask a pastor about the Trinity, they stutter because they can't tell you this. If they told you this, you'd be looking at them like, how is that one God then?
So here's the thing. They teach pastors that in seminary
school, but to keep it from the congregation because us little people, us little commoners who barely even read the Bible, we just follow blindly behind whatever the leaders say. We don't need to know this.
Elizabeth, thanks for coming into a live, and thank you for all the people who caught the live, because we don't have a schedule.
And thank you to everybody who there's so many people that like sent like super thanks or something in the last lives that
was dope.
That
too.
went to my doll fund.
That was dope too.
every time Adonis will be like, check your account. I just sent you some money for your dolls. I'll be like, you sent me the money or your fan sent me the money? Thank you. So this is why I couldn't take it serious after he explained this to me. I was just like, bro, like, what? Like, then that means there's no explanation for what the hell a Trinity is. It just came out of nowhere, because the word Trinity isn't even in the Bible. Like, y'all just making stuff up out here. And he tried to make it seem like, well, it's like crowd control. Like, sometimes you have to tell little, he didn't call them lies, but like exaggerations so that you can control the people, kind of, you know, which is scary to hear a church leader explaining it this way. But he only even told me this because he had a low-key crush on my mom. And he thought I was going to become his stepdaughter. So if he just explained these things to me, then that was going to get him closer to my mother. Because at the time, me and Adonis were playing music for the praise and worship team at his church. So we spent a lot of time alone with this pastor trying to plan out, you know, services. So I'm just asking him because that's what I'd be doing. I'll just bluntly ask you, like, yo, so what about this thing, huh? You're an expert. Tell me the answer. I'm just asking you because I'm like, well, who else is going to know but a pastor?
This is all before we knew she even had Asperger's. And that's just what Aspie people do. They have no filter, literally, because it's not a pre-installed program, a filter. They don't even know that they should be filtering what they say. So she would just be asking them stuff like that. And I would be in the room listening, just looking like this when she asked me a question. I'd be like...
What, is it appropriate? I'm saying you're supposed to be the leader, so I should be able to ask you all the questions, leader. Right?
That's how she felt about it. And he would be answering her. Well, before he answered her, I would be like... I'd be trying to look at her like...
Nah, man. If you're not going to have me playing music up in your church, bringing you more people. Yo, when we used to play the music, Adonis would be on drums. I would be on the piano and singing. This particular church, I think it was a Salvation Army church, right? Mm-hmm. Across the street, they had a men's, what do you call those places? Like a rehab center?
Like a men's shelter.
Sort of, yeah.
It wasn't for drug rehabilitation?
I don't know, but there were only men there, right? And the church initially when we went there was filled with old ladies. It wasn't no guys, there was no young people there. Me and Adonis show up, we start taking over the praise and worship team stuff, the youth group stuff. All of a sudden, every Sunday we'd have more and more and more young people and men coming over to the church. They would hear the music from outside because they was playing boring music. And we're like, ew, don't nobody want to listen to this. So he'd be on the drum just rocking out. And I'm like, singing the songs that are actually good songs. And the noise that we were making from outside, people are walking by and they're hearing the music. And they're like, what is this? They having a concert in there? So they would come inside the church just to see, like, what's going on? So many men started filling up the front rows of the church. And all the old women are moving further and further back, right? I'd never seen so many grown men with muscles on their knees crying until we were doing that. Like, that's something else. That's very powerful to see men crying. Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? These are tough dudes, thugs. This is in the hood in New York. Like, y'all came over from the rehab center. Y'all should not be crying. What's going on? But they were that moved.
Firstly, if you're a guy that's in a rehab center, you're this tough guy, what were you doing that you were that close to the streets, that the streets beat you down so bad that now you want to be rehabilitated from that?
Bro,
you see what I'm saying?
One of our biggest, I'm calling them fans, but one of the guys that loved our music the most, always in the front row, was a straight up gigolo. Like, this dude used to have old white ladies paying for everything for him, right? Just switching through ladies all the time. We'd be seeing him around the neighborhood like, he's not supposed to be doing that. But
yeah, he still was.
Don't he go to our church?
wasn't he driving some white lady car?
Yeah, driving around their Mercedes-Benz.
With the top back?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, you're not about to have me in your church hypnotizing everyone to come in here, worship, give you tithe money, But you can't answer a question about the religion? No, Pastor, that's not how it works. You're going to explain to me because I want to know. And
this was before fentanyl was big. Maybe they was on because this was like in the
it wasn't a pill popping culture at the time.
Yeah, it was early 2000s, well, like 2010,
no, it was
11.
late 2000s because I was pregnant with Jackson at the time.
Yeah, 2010, 11, like around that time. It was before
2010, I think.
12. So I don't know if it was fentanyl. If
not in the hood. Mm-mm.
I'm saying that because fentanyl might have been here for a minute, but it didn't get popular. Like crypto has been here for a minute. But now it's popular. Mm-hmm. Now. You know what I'm saying? I first heard of crypto in 2011, 2012. That's when I first heard about it. And the guy told me about it. I was like, man, I ain't messing with that mess. But I kind of wish I had of back then. Because now something probably would be worth $400,000 now if I had been messing with it back then. But now everybody knows what crypto is. So
I don't know what the hell is a crypto.
Well, everybody except for my wife.
It just sounds like imaginary money to me. Like
your
Monopoly?
Wife knows what it is. My wife, she don't know.
I don't know.
When I say, yo, we should get some crypto, she's like, where's the kryptonite? What is this? Will you stop with the video game comic book stuff? I'm tired of it. That's why I say creepy TikToks are killing my
Yo, but to me, stuff like this that's going on in these churches, that to me is like a conspiracy theory. Because it's like, am I the only one that noticed something don't add up? Like, speaking of Salvation Army, before we moved here, when I was living in Washington, I used to do social work for a Salvation Army church out there. And, bro, every holiday, the pastor would have us, like, decorating the church based on the holiday. And I would be like, sir, St. Patrick's is not something that we celebrate. You know, as non-denominational Christians, we don't do that. Like, why are we celebrating a Catholic holiday? And he would just look at me and be like, and just walk off. And I'd be like, why are we doing trick-or-treat at church? Like, what are you doing? This makes no sense. We're confusing the kids. Why are we doing this? They will just do whatever to get people in the door because it's really not about religion. They're using the religion to basically, what's the word? Hypnotize you to come to church, get all emotional, all in your feelings.
Now, the religion by itself doesn't hypnotize you. The one-two punch of that is the music.
To church, yeah. And that's another thing I realized, too, about music. Yeah, they use us musicians to basically put people in a hypnotic trance so that when we're saying, praise Jesus, put your hands in the air, cry out to the Lord. People are so entranced by these hypnotic words that music is telling you, oh, ask God for a blessing. You got to bless God to get blessed. You talking like this. Now I'm fishing to the bottom of my purse trying to take out all the change down there so I can throw it into the tithing what do you call it? The offering box.
Right.
That's all it is at the end of the day. They
about
just want
20
your
more
money.
minutes. 20 more minutes in here, you guys.
They want your money. They want you to show up to church so that they can keep getting grants from the government because they can say, look, we're servicing the community. We went from 120 members to 300 members in the course of 6 months.
Monica said, did you know that churches have an insurance called pedophilia insurance?
Oh, jeez. Yo, we had to get trained. While we were working at the church, we had to actually sit in a meeting and get trained on how to spot potential pedos and how to interact with children so that we weren't accused of that because the pastor said this type of environment attracts people like that. This is the first place they come to because you don't have to prove your credentials to work around children and be around kids here.
Wow.
What? And then they were giving us like a questionnaire where we had to like answer questions about these people. One of the questions said, by the time these people get caught for their first crime, what is the average amount of victims they've already had? And the choices were like 4, 10, 200,
hundreds,
and like 1,000. So I'm thinking like these numbers look ridiculous. It's probably like 10. So I marked 10. When we go through the answers, they were like, no, it's like 200 people. I'm like, 200? What? How? Like, what are you talking about? How are you been around that many kids in a lifetime? What? They're seeking them out. They're looking for them. They're volunteering to be the coach at the school sports team, to run the, what do you call those things? The Boy Scouts?
Yeah.
The scouting events. They're always the parent that wants to chaperone and be part of the school trips and all of this freaking nonsense. Like, most grown-ups, they don't want to be around kids. Half of us don't even want to be around our own kids.
I don't want to be around the female church leader.
You stupid.
She got a big old booty. I want to hear At the cross, where I first... Tell me.
You want to hang out with the youth pastor?
With the youth pastor, because she always be having her button down here.
The Sunday school teacher?
Just enough. She's supposed to have it up here.
They ain't train us on how to handle that. The pervy men that
here.
come to church. Yeah, they didn't talk about that. Just the pedos.
You see how they do? Why I gotta be a pedo? Because you got half your breasts out. You know you're supposed to be walking around like
because she's
this.
married to Jesus. She's trying to be cute for Jesus.
Jesus would have said, "Hey man, put that thing back in your tithing box."
Jesus is woke now. What you talking about? What are you even talking about?
I don't know.
Jesus is now woke. Okay.
Because if Jesus is God.
Yo, some of these tarot girls say they believe in Jesus.
God is the one who said Sodom and Gomorrah can't be here no more.
Well, don't tell that to people.
You telling me that he decided because Malachi the 3:6 said God doesn't change.
Yeah, but God also said that his promise that he won't flood everyone is a rainbow. See the connection there?
I don't see the connection. I see that they took the rainbow and said, "This means us now. Hello, Mr. Man. It's ours now. Inclusion. You're not including us."
I'm trying to tell you, Jesus is woke.
There's Jesus, but then there's their Jesus.
Okay.
You know, their Jesus is this guy that looks like he surfs. You know, you put him on.
Hippie.
Hey, man. Hallelujah, guys.
Yeah, he's a free spirit. He's into tarot. He's into fortune telling.
That's these guys.
In fact, he was a fortune teller. You don't know your Bible, Adonis. You just don't know.
Jesus was a fortune teller?
Of course he was. Look at all the stuff he was prophesying. He was just telling you what was going to happen in the future.
Jeez.
That's fortune telling.
You know, and if you, as the person like me, he was a fortune. If I used to do stuff, and I didn't realize when I was a kid, someone would say something like, "Word, Jesus did that," but I didn't know that you're not supposed to talk to adults like that. You're not supposed to be like, "Really?"
Were you really saying that?
I was looking like that at them. I was, and they would be like, "Adonis." I'd be like, "What?" I didn't know I was doing nothing. Like one time they said, Noah he populated the earth by throwing rocks over his shoulder.
What?
And I was, after the flood, and he got off the boat in Sunday school.
I don't remember hearing that.
That's why I was looking at her. And I was like,
"Who knows that scripture? Put it in
I
the
raised my
chat.
hand.
What?
I said, so Noah so all of us are rocks.
What?
He picked up a rock and threw it over his shoulder, and every rock turned into a person.
What version of the Bible is that?
That's how we. And she told my mother on me.
What?
She told my mom on me. And my mother was like, "Adonis, you..."
Stop asking questions.
There was a lot of this going on in my household, my mom. She'd just be like, "Adonis..." That's why I used that picture in the thumbnail of you doing like this.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of that in my household with my wife. She's, "Adonis..."
I do that to you?
A lot, and she has Asperger's.
No, yeah,
because
you be saying stuff sometimes. I've been like, why'd you just say that?
That's what my mom was like. She's like, of course that's not what they did, but you just gotta play the game. I'm 8.
But I feel like my reason for doing that and your mom's reason is not the same. You know?
What's your reason for doing it?
Sometimes you say things that to me is like, that's so obvious. You just figured that out. You know what I'm trying to say?
It sounds like you're trying to say the toilet paper doesn't go in your mouth. It goes at the other end. That's so obvious. Why would you think that's what...
But I'm saying, it'd be like that sometimes. So I'll just be looking at you like, is he being dead serious right now? Or is he playing with me? Because I can't tell sometimes. I can't tell.
My mother, her doing this was like, "Oh, God, why did you give me this kid? Why did you give me this kid? I would have took anyone.
Oh, Lord. But you're her best kid. Now she sees it.
Now she sees it now that her other 2 kids are jerks. But
Right.
at the time, she only had me.
Yeah, you're the only one that don't be abusing her just for the fun of it.
So, but she thought that, I think, because I was just so different. And everybody was like, "Why did he ask me what is a Trinity?" I told him what it was, and he still said why.
Because you're not really telling me what it is. You're just giving me an answer. That's not the same thing. You're not explaining the actual solution to my question.
I think we in here, we like Jesus. We don't like your explanation of him. Why are you explaining him like that?
People put their own interpretations onto Jesus. And it's just like, why are you doing that?
You're interpreting. So it could be that Jesus had long curly hair. but you explaining it like he had long
Yo,
cowabunga hair?
one of my so-called besties, I always say it like all sarcastic, my best friend. I say it like that because she's not my best friend. She thinks I'm her best friend, so she calls me that. But anyway, so I asked her, she's a white girl, right? Red-headed white girl.
Why do these girls call you their bestie?
Because they want me to be. Because I make them feel like they're special, I guess.
Right.
But I treat everybody the same way. So it's not because you're so, like, amazing and special. I just see the things about a person that makes them special, and I focus on those traits of that person. Like this friend of mine. Very low self-esteem. She's a tarot card girl. Very low self-esteem, who also goes to church, by the way. No confidence, you know? But her personality, she's like the funniest girl I ever met. Like, she's just so effortlessly witty, right?
And funny, right. She's a funny girl.
Cracks me up. Just accidentally. She's not trying to be funny. It's just the way she talks. And I be telling her, you need to be like a comedy writer. Like, you're wasting your life. What are you doing?
Being here in the church?
Just in general. She's got like a horribly abusive, verbally abusive boyfriend who she's only with because he has a car. Like, and it's not even a nice car. It's a busted up, weird, falling apart truck. But her standards are so low that that's enough to just keep her loyal to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's crazy abusive. And I'd be like, you can do way better. And she's like, oh, I know. I know I can. But I just don't have the confidence to, like, try to do better. So I'm like, whatever.
Dang, at least she knows.
Well, she knows exactly what her problem is. That's why she always tells me, like, Gypsy, I don't be telling you my problems. Because I know when I tell you, you're going to be honest with me and actually tell me how to solve the problem. But I know I'm not going to do it because I don't have the confidence to do it. So I just keep it to myself. So anyway... What was I saying about her being a tarot card reader? Oh yeah. So we're in the church, right? And oh my god. This is what happens when you have Asperger's plus ADHD plus whatever else I got. Okay, it's just this is how conversations go around here. You got to keep up. If you can't keep up, then you won't keep up. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I said to her, "How do you white people feel about the fact that Jesus is not white?" And she was like, "What? Jesus is white." I said, "No, are you joking right now?" Again, I can't tell if she's being sarcastic. I'm like, "Are you playing with me right now? You don't actually believe Jesus is white, right?" And she's like, "Of course he is." I'm like, "Based on what, ma'am? What's making you think Jesus is white?" She said, "Oh, all the pictures of him." How do we know what Jesus looked like? Did they have photography back in his day? How do we know what he looked like? Well, he must be white. Why else would people say that he's white? I'm like, think, smarty pants, he's from Jerusalem. He's from Nazareth. Is that a part of the world where white people be at? She said.
Well, can I also interject that thing? The thing with, like, tarot card people, fortune tellers, spells, all that stuff, that's a part of religion because those people existed in that day.
Yeah, I'm not saying that magic isn't real. It's just not what you think it is. It's not good. Just because it's actually real doesn't mean you need to be doing that.
Like, this is another part of the creepy conspiracy. It's two things. It's creepy and it's a conspiracy. The conspiracy is to make you think it's just Star Wars and it's just imaginary. That's the conspiracy. The part of the creepy part to me is that you would need to conspire to make me think it isn't real.
Why are you hiding it? Yeah, exactly.
Why do you want me to think it's not real? Like, why don't you just want me to know the truth? Is it for control and money? You can just explain that. Why don't you even want to explain that? Because it's like you are explaining it, but you're explaining it in like code and double speak.
Because the average person, if they realize, like if you tell your cult members, hey guys, we're in a cult. If you tell them that, they're going to be like, say, what? No, I'm out. I got to get out of here.
All of them won't because some people are
most
just
of them will.
Most
of them will leave.
I don't think that.
No, it's true. If
I don't think most of them will leave.
If you tell somebody this is a cult and my function here is to control you, take your money from you, and ruin your life, people are going to flee. They're going to run for the hills. I
think they will just go and be someone else's cult member
who's not telling them that it's a cult. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. I think you would be in a cult regardless. You're just choosing which cult
to follow
you would be in.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem if you're in a cult. There's always a cult members who are mad that you won't be in the cult also.
But they will never acknowledge they're in a cult because they don't want to believe that they're so easily manipulated that you convince me to join a cult. they're never going to believe you when you say this is a cult. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. The connotation of a cult is negative. So a person is not going to be like, ha ha ha, I'm a cult member. Only a very small minority of people are going to talk like that. The majority of people will say, this is weird. How did I end up in a cult? You understand what I'm saying? So you have to disguise it as something. It's an organization. It's a club. It's a religion. You're not going to say it's a cult.
Well, the tarot card readers, all of that falls into, and also I want to say shout out to me, because all of us in here, we all watch all of the creepy TikToker channels.
Do we? I don't.
Well,
I can't.
Well, listen.
I can't watch them.
I don't, because
I'm going to tell you why. Not because I'm hating. So ridiculous. No, like my intellectual capacity is too beyond
that's why
watching the other channels, because they never have nothing to talk about. It's just a bunch of clips that I'm left to just interpret on my own. Why are you on screen, creator? Why are you even here? Like, if I just want to watch a compilation of creepy stuff, I'll just go and watch it myself on TikTok.
Which is why they don't talk.
That's why I don't watch them, because y'all don't got nothing of value to add to the conversation. You just stare at the screen and be like, if you know, you know. Wow, that's crazy. Guys, did you see that? Like, that's all you're going to do. Who's that channel that I be cracking on all the time?
Wait, before you answer, I wonder how come, well, tell me why you think the other channels, the other TikToker channels, because why don't they, first, there's two things. One, why don't they ever collaborate with one another? Because we're all YouTubers. YouTubers collaborate. That's a thing.
No.
Why? No. First, that's the first part. Why don't you think they collaborate with one another?
First, let's correct. YouTubers don't be collaborating. A lot of YouTube, no. We're talking about right now. What we used to do doesn't count anymore. You had to have you had to apply to get partnership on YouTube before. We can't talk about that now because that's irrelevant. Right now, in this current culture of YouTube, YouTubers do not be collaborating in general. Okay, It depends on the niche that you're a part of, whether or not collabing even helps your channel at all. So the people who are collabing, they're not everybody on YouTube. That's not even an expectation that people should have of YouTubers collaborating with each other. It's every man for himself out here.
Okay.
Too much saturation, too much competition, too many random channels just popping up left and right every day for me to be worried about collaborating with you. Like, how about the people who collaborate and then, like, one of those channels, they just fall off. They just stop making videos because they lose interest. That happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? And it's not because the channel is failing per se. It could just be personal reasons. This person's life, something happens in their life, and they're just like, oh, I can't make videos anymore. So they go off someplace. I ain't about to tie my name to your channel, and I don't even know for sure you're going to be here next week. You know what I'm saying?
That's for one. Then for two, I'm pretty sure all of these guys, a lot of these guys, and the girl or girls are in relationships. Why do you think they don't do anything with their spouses? Even though family YouTube channels exist, relationship YouTube channels exist, and they get big numbers.
Well, not in this genre. In this genre.
No. Now you're putting this genre in a box. And this is why I don't watch the other creepy TikToker channels. Because y'all are in a box. You're not performers. You don't have any talent. You're just watching a bunch of... Let me finish. You're watching a bunch of clips that you sourced. Sourced is one of these words that an insurance company uses as a synonym for some weirdo stuff. You got someone else's content and you put it up there and you're just watching it. Like we're watching TV at your house together. That's a watch party. You're not adding any value to it.
And I know I can't do that. Like the way me and you watch TV, because we do this ourselves, we constantly react. We always pause the TV to break down the scene, to talk about the scene and relate it to.
And your favorite creepy talker, he or she don't do that with their partner.
But that's just the way me and you do it. You know what I'm saying?
They don't do that normally. And the people who like my channel, like Melissa, she does that with her partner. She talks about what she's seeing on TV. A TV episode could spark a whole conversation in their house to where they got to stop talking about it because we got to go to work in the morning. Or they'll be talking about it all while at the grocery store. And I want you see how the comment stopped? That's what I'm saying.
There's a lag in the comments.
There's not that much of a lag because they was coming back to back to back like Drake in 09 for a second. But they stopped like that.
Drake in 09.
They stopped like that because it's reaching the minds, I think, of the people. The people are like, that is true. They don't do that.
Successful.
Or I've been in a relationship with a guy or a girl where we didn't talk about nothing. Thank goodness she had some tick old bitties because the relationship wouldn't have went nowhere.
Okay, so that's where I'm trying to go with this, is that most people who have creepy talk type of channels, they're not real performing artists. They're just random nobodies who are, I call them impersonators, where they're pretending that they know how to perform, but they're not really performing. So they can't talk. If they say too much, you'll notice that this person is not really someone who has stage presence. You know what I mean?
If they say too much, what?
You'll see that the person has no stage presence. They're awkward. They don't really know what to say. They're just like repeating themselves over and over again. They're just regurgitating the thing you just saw in the clip. Oh, wow. Did you guys see that? A helicopter flew over a hospital and something came out of it. Oh my God. That's crazy. That's all you saying. Like, I know. I just saw it with you. What does it mean, stupid?
I saw a Rick and Morty episode where there was a new guy that came to school and everybody thought he was so cool because he was like mysterious and he didn't say nothing. And then he said something at the end of the episode and everybody made fun of him. They said, what? And everybody just started cracking on him. Yes. So it's interesting. That's a Rick and Morty episode. That's a very pop culture kind of a TV show.
And it's if you think analytically, the channels that move like that, they're not doing nothing special. Like, what that person is doing, my 10-year-old daughter can do. Like, it's not anything special. You're not adding nothing to it.
And for the people who like, oh man, he bringing his wife, it's really going to mess your head up when I let you see my daughter and she start doing it. That's really going to make you feel some kind of way about life. Actually, she edited
part of the last video that I gave to you.
She edited it?
She edited part of that,
That's really going to make you feel some kind of way.
And she added to it. She added a point. Like, she commentated on something we were talking about and she said, also, this happens when this happens. That also happens. And I was like, how do you know that? And she's like, it's obvious. I'm like, okay.
And she's 13, so that's really going to bother you people who might feel like, why is he bringing his wife in? It's really going to bother you. But it's not going to bother you in a bad way. Like, it's going to bother you like...
This is what I'm saying.
Like, it's going to make you feel some kind of way about your own kid.
I just so happen to be your wife. Do you understand what I'm saying? I just happen to be your wife. I am also a YouTuber. I'm the kind of YouTuber that if you were going to collab, we would collab with each other. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Yeah, that's a good point. If you were a YouTuber, I would do a video with you. Right, so
objectively speaking, it's like, why wouldn't he utilize this whole other performing artist that he just got laying around his house? Why would he not utilize this person to help him make better content?
Like, how insecure must I be to be like, it's all about me?
And that's why these women are leaving these type of comments. Because as a woman, when you see that... You literally are telling yourself couple goals. Like, that's what we want. We want dudes who aren't intimidated by our level of intelligence. We want men who are not going to be like, oh, I'm the star of the show. Everything is about me, 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 me. We want to be around dudes who are like, no, let's share the spotlight. It's fine. She can sing. I can dance. Let's put it together and come up with something together. You know what I'm saying? We want that. But these men out here, they don't move like that. They be very insecure about letting somebody see what my wife can do because you're going to find out she's better at this than I am.
Let's get into the conspiracy, right? Now, the conspiracy of that. These modern day men, they're not like men from my era. You weren't allowed to be like these modern day men. You weren't allowed to be like LeBron James and say it's not my fault. You weren't allowed to because the other men would police you. The other men would ostracize you. We wouldn't let you hang with us. We wouldn't want you to be at the party. We wouldn't want you to be... Shout out to this guy who left a comment. He said, Adonis, I feel you about listening to Led Zeppelin in the background, having a dude with just a couple of friends, some chicks that you met someplace. I feel you, man. 100%. This is a white guy. Because I grew up in the suburbs around white guys. And
must be nice.
And that's what they did. They introduced
Wish
me
I had that backstory.
to their world. And that's what they did in their world. And that was the chillest, most safest time I ever felt in my life as an adolescent, a teen, a kid, living in suburbia. I am not meant for the hood. I don't care what you hood dudes think. I don't care. He was like, yeah, so shout out to that guy. We in this channel, we appeal to those types of people. The modern day guys, like you wouldn't be able to hang with us. We wouldn't want you hanging with us. We wouldn't beat you up. You just wouldn't be in our circle. We just don't got
nothing in common, that's all.
Now, the conspiracy is Let's break up the family, because that gets taught generation to generation to generation by the family structure. You see how your dad responds with your mom. You see how your mom interacts with your dad. And you grow up saying, that's what I want to do. You think kids just go to college because TV told them? Now, that's what they saw their parents doing. Mm-hmm. He's staying with his wife because that's what he saw his parents doing. She's staying with her husband because that's what she saw her parents doing. How can we destroy this family? Because who's the most jealous of mankind? The devil. Who was created by God. That gets left out, but intentionally.
But also the devil does not exist. So there's
at the same time. Mm-hmm. The devil doesn't exist, but then also there's religion.
Right.
But then religion was written by everybody.
But religion doesn't matter, because you can also be a witch at the same time.
Well, you can be a witch, but if you want to do this music and get millions of dollars, you have to...
You gotta kiss the devil's butt cheeks.
But the devil
don't exist.
All of this is the conspiracy. And I'm like... Why aren't other creepy talkers talking about? Why are they only talking about UFOs?
They can't. That's what I'm saying. They don't have nothing to add to the conversation. They don't think about things like this. Who are they going to talk to about it? Their wives who are not interested? She don't even care what you're talking about over there.
You're not even friends with your wife.
They don't care. Their interest is on something else. That's why you'll never see their girlfriends and wives on their channels, because she got nothing to add to the conversation. What's she going to do? Just sit there and be like...
I've seen some of these creepy TikTokers' wives, and honestly, she's just pretty. Mm-hmm. That's it.
That's her whole appeal.
You're just good looking. You're not the double or triple threat.
But I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's what you bring to the table, then be the prettiest wife or girlfriend that you can muster yourself up to be. High five, girlfriend. But don't attack me because I'm more than just pretty. Don't attack me because I actually can articulate myself. Don't attack me because I really do have a sense of humor. Don't attack me because I don't mind helping my husband out with whatever he's doing. If it's not this, always, YouTube is not the only thing I'm helping you with. I help you with literally everything. Every single endeavor that you take on, every plan you make, like, for example, moving here to Oklahoma from Washington State. My husband said, I want to move to some place that's cheaper than here. Okay, so... I'm just going to be like, okay, good for you. No, what can I do to help? You're better at research than I am. Start researching places that we could possibly go to. That's what I was doing. This house that we live in, I had a list of everything that we needed for the house to have and the price range we wanted to stick within for the budget of the rent. That's what we're basing it on. The paperwork and documents that we need to use to prove to the landlord that we're qualified to live here, I have to make sure all of that stuff is in place, because that's not my husband's skill set. His skill set is make the money and pay the bills. Everything outside of that is too much for him. It's very overwhelming. He got severe ADHD. He don't really like to read. Like, he's not ignoring y'all comments because he just wants to. He don't want to read. I'm not close enough to the computer to even see what people are saying. So that's just who he is. I know this.
They don't even realize I'm looking, but then I'm seeing all of the letters and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, like Adonis has to skim stuff because if it's more than 2 sentences, his brain just turns off. So that's what I'm saying. It's like...
Well, let me break it down. I didn't say I'm seeing all the words. Notice I said I'm seeing all the letters. Each letter is like a paragraph by itself, and I'm like, oh my God. What do they want? But I know this is a part of YouTube. This is a part of engagement.
That's why he always say he dropped out in 8th grade. Like, he didn't really drop out in 8th grade.
They think it's a joke. I stopped paying attention. He just stopped paying attention in class.
He stopped going to school. Like, he was still registered in the high school, but he would just go there to hang out. He wasn't really paying attention in class. So anyway,
and here's the conspiracy of the inner city. Nobody cared. The teacher, the principal. Hey, Adonis, what's going on, guy? Hi, Mr. Wolf.
They just see you walk around in the halls. They didn't be like, where are you supposed to be at?
In the inner city, they just passed me from grade. When I was in 7th grade, my mom had this meeting with the principal. They was like, he didn't do his 7th grade. He didn't do any of his work all year. But we can pass him if you want. My mom... freaking integrity. If he didn't do no work, he don't deserve to go to the next class. I was like, Mom!
Wait, so you have to repeat the year?
Yes! But did you guys hear the nuance? The principal said, but we can pass him if you want.
That's insane.
We can. You want?
That is insane.
And then after that, they just stopped asking it. It's like, well, he got all F's. I hate to put him in like
American.
He got all F's. I put him in
education system. Oh my God. That's
now
insane.
that was in the late 80s, early 90s.
That's
Fast forward to
insane.
today where they're not even teaching the kids cursive anymore, but they are teaching them how to be LGBT.
XYZ LMNOP.
They're teaching them
Yo,
that.
if I had known that you could just pass anyway, I would have never put that much work into my schoolwork. What? I hated school. I was in honors. They try to give me, like, what do they call that thing? The National Honor Society?
What is that? I heard of it. What is that?
I don't even know. One day, I swear to you, I showed up to school one day late as usual. The guidance counselor said to me, "Why aren't you in the auditorium? Why are you walking around out here in the hallway?" And I'm like, "For what?" And she's like, "They're doing an assembly right now because you guys are supposed to be practicing for your National Honor Society award thing that's happening this week." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Yeah, you've been nominated for an award." I'm like, "By who? Why? I didn't sign up for nothing."
And for what?
That's what I said. And she's like, "Because your grades are high and you're this and you're that and you're in honors." And I'm like, "Oh my God. Like, I don't want to go to it. What are you talking about? I didn't sign up for that. What are you talking about?" I think she signed me up. Like, she filled out the application for me and, like, put it in or something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't want to be, leave me alone. Like, how early I got to come to school for that? You know what I'm saying?
It's like, I already don't like coming here.
Oh, I was so devastated. I was about to cry. She was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Oh my God, leave me alone. Like, I don't want to be in this stupid thing." Now, what does that even mean? Like, what is the benefit of being in national honor? Do I get some for free? Like, what is going on?
Did she tell you? Did she explain
There's
it?
no benefit. It's just you can put it on your college applications. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, leave me alone. I don't need you people to give me an award to let me know how smart I already know I'm smart because the rest of the kids in my class are dumb. I know. I'm like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
I was so genuinely, like, stressed. After that, I told the guidance counselor, I said, "You need to take me out of all of these honors classes and put me in average." She's like, "Why? You're so smart." I'm like, "I don't care. Put me in the average classes because I don't want to do all this extra work. Like, it's stupid."
The Georgia Guidestones, that's a part of the conspiracy too. I'm listening to what you're saying.
I wish I would have known. I could have just failed out of all my classes and still passed. Like, oh my gosh, the stress. And now I'm, like, regretting my whole high school experience.
In the late 80s, school was still talked about like it was something important
in my
for
school,
you to
they
have.
always talk like, if you get less than a 64 average, that's failing. And they would, like, drum up this anxiety that if you failed, something bad was going to happen to you. So thinking...
Going back to the LeBron James point, LeBron James is 40% in the finals. That's not failing.
Ew.
That's not... He won 40% of the time. That's not failing
That's
anymore.
not greatest of all time.
That's what I was saying, that the guys from this era, the men of this era,
they're dumb.
You could not hang out with us. If you were like this... First of all, I want to say LeBron James types of men have always existed. Pontius Pilate was a LeBron James kind of dude. You jealous of Jesus. Why? Jesus didn't do nothing to you.
I know, right? He minded his business.
You're a hater. Haters have always been around. So I got to put it in this religious type of context to let you know this is not society evolved. This is something new.
We devolved.
Haters have been around. You want to know the first hater? Cain. I'm mad that you like Abel better than... Why are you hating on him?
Ooh, Lord.
Why are you hating?
I know, right?
You see? So do I have to get like that? That's for the religious people.
And they brothers.
And that's your brother. That's for us religious people. Adam wasn't jealous of Eve or any of him. Nobody. He was like, "I love y'all. This is what's up." See what I'm saying? So these kinds of men have always existed. You just also couldn't chill with us upright dudes. I'm not all more holier than thou, nothing like that. It's just, I'm not going to take candy from a baby. And if I see you taking candy from a baby, I'm going to say, "Hey, man, don't do that." If you's a Debo dude and I can't do nothing, I at least will, in my heart, I'd be like, man, if I had lifted a few more weights, I'd have slapped her. But today, I ain't going to do nothing. You know, guys like us have always existed.
I'll write you an angry email.
And... women have always liked us kinds of dudes. So the LeBron James type of man... Because
we need those kinds of dudes in society to keep everyone else in check.
Because you, as a LeBron James kind of fan, you would just slap a girl. You would get mad and just strangle her. You would get mad and be like, "I don't want you on my channel with me because it's me." You would. You're not moderating yourself. So when a person in the comments that said, "Happy wife, happy life," that does not mean... give your wife everything that she wants, because your wife everybody needs moderation. Me, my kids, her.
Well, let me add to that. Actually, like my therapist said, when you start worrying too much, 10 seconds maximum to pay attention to that thing that's bothering you. Then go do something that makes you happy. And I shocked myself when I really sat down and thought about what makes me happy is actually making everyone else around me happy. I want to make sure my husband has help with his whatever it is that he's doing. So let me stop sitting here ruminating and like thinking about all this stuff that's causing me anxiety that I can't control.
Wait. I want you to expand on that, because that's the real meaning of happy wife, happy life. Your wife is happy with herself.
Like, what kind of wife wants her man to be in a bad mood all the time? You're a psycho if you enjoy seeing your man upset, bothered, you know what I'm saying, stressed out. Why would you want a life like that? No, I didn't marry you so I could just sit here and watch you be driven crazy slowly. I married you because I'm trying to have a good life with you.
Wouldn't I stay single? Wasn't I able to do that when I was single?
That's what I'm saying. So as a wife, just like, what kind of mother wants her children to be hungry? Like, you're a weirdo if that's how you feel. If you feel like when your kid says, Mom, I'm hungry, and you be like, that's not my problem, it ain't time for lunch yet, you're a psychopath. You understand what I'm saying? A normal, sane mom is going to stop what she's doing. Me painting my nail polish is not as important as my child feeling like their hunger was satisfied. So let me get up off my butt and go find something to feed this child. You know what I'm saying?
But today's women, a lot of the women women who get the most promotion, not like these women who left comments on your video. No,
these type of women get shamed publicly. Right. And then the women who are talking all kinds of junk and talking like the whole world revolves around them. You only going to take me to a date to Applebee's? That's all you're going to take me to?
Those women get promoted. Now, where's the conspiracy in that? Now, I'm saying shout out to Honest Adonis, because maybe it's because I'm older. Maybe it's because I feel like I'm really an international person who just was born in America. I don't know. But I see the conspiracy in that. And I think a lot of people who come to this channel, I think it bothers them that they didn't see the conspiracy in that. And when they hear me talk and I'm talking about it.
Not a lot of people that come to this channel.
Not a lot, because most of you is good people.
Most of y'all are like us. Who are attracted to this channel are thinkers. That's why they like hanging out over here. Because it makes you feel less like I'm the only person on the planet that noticed that this looks weird. Why are we doing this? No, you're not the only one. It's a bunch of us out here. But we're a minority overall on the internet. You know what I'm saying? So you don't really run into this a lot on the internet, because most of the people who live on the internet are the miserable people who are actually a minority in real life, but they have no friends. So they come on the internet to mingle and socialize with other